Welcome to Daily Wisdom, Walking the Path with the Buddha, a podcast shared by David Roylance. This podcast is dedicated to guiding you to completely eliminate the discontent mind and the suffering it causes by attaining enlightenment. Learn and practice the teachings of Gotama Buddha that will guide you to fully attain a peaceful, calm, serene, and content mind with joy. To support this podcast, visit patreon.com/support Buddha or visit buddhadailywisdom.com, where you will discover a full range of courses, retreats, and online learning resources to assist you on the path to enlightenment. Now, here's our teacher to share more.
Sawadee Kap. Hello and welcome to Daily Wisdom, Walking the Path with the Buddha. Today is our group learning program and we're studying Buddhist chanting. We're in the third part of our 4-part series, where the first part I shared with you all the details of why somebody might decide to practice Buddhist chanting, along with the history of how Buddhist chanting was handed down over the years and why that occurred. Then in our last session, part 2, we just reviewed the chants that we learned in part 1 and then did some meditation together. We're going to do a very similar session today where we're just going to review the chants that we learned in the very first session and that we reviewed in our second session. We're just going to review those through chanting, and then we're going to use those chants to once again chant and then ease into meditation, and I'll do some meditation with you as a group meditation. And then we'll come out of our meditation with the chanting as well. So I'd like to welcome all of you to our Buddhist chanting classes. Next week will be the last one of our 4-part series. And then at that point, after that week's class, we're going to be rotating breathing mindfulness meditation and loving kindness meditation for the rest of the group learning program. One week we'll do breathing mindfulness meditation. The next week we'll do loving kindness meditation. And what these meditations are for is to help you build up your practice. Because if you've been doing the work over the course of this group learning program, you should be able to do breathing mindfulness meditation, loving kindness meditation, and now you're able to integrate Buddhist chanting into your practice. And as you stay committed and dedicated to developing your meditation practice, you'll be able to build up this practice of training the mind on a consistent, ongoing basis. And you're welcome to use Buddhist chanting as a way to set up mindfulness in front of you, develop awareness of mind, concentration, deep memory, gain that awareness of the breath and the mind as you ease into meditation, which will ultimately help you to gain more benefit out of the meditation itself. It's important to understand that Buddhist chanting, there isn't any mystical or magical thing that's going on with Buddhist chanting. You can't say any particular words that are going to magically allow something to occur, like a longer life or getting more money or a bigger house or a better job or having your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife come back to you or anything like that. Instead, the Buddhist chanting was used as a way to remember the teachings during the lifetime of the Buddha, to recite them orally about every 2 weeks. And then what we do now is we use Buddhist chanting in order to ease the mind into meditation, because the Pali words, the vast majority of the world doesn't even know what those words mean anymore. And this is one of the reasons why it's taken on this mystical, magical approach, because sometimes the least you know about something, the more mystical and magical it becomes in a certain society. But in reality, during the lifetime of the Buddha, he never taught that there was anything mystical or magical about chanting itself. So let's look at the actual chants that we learned and that we've been studying, and perhaps you've been practicing as part of your building up of your practice over the last few weeks. This first chant is called the Triple Gem. We're going to do that one first. Then we're going to go into the Namo Tassa, which is the second chant. It tends to be a bit easier for a lot of people, and people tend to use this one regularly. Then there's the Iti Piso, or this one is actually honoring the Buddha as are the others and explaining some of the qualities of his mind and the qualities of his practice. You can see here that I have the English translations available for you, which are available on the slides. If you go to buddhadailywisdom.com and click on free books, there you'll see the download where you can download these slides in a PDF version, or you can also from that same location, download the one-page chanting reference sheet where it's a front and back, and then you could print that and have it wherever you meditate so that you can regularly be chanting as an easy reference. And these chants are also in chapter 11 of the book, Developing a Life Practice, The Path That Leads to Enlightenment. So you could also access them there in chapter 11. So let's go ahead and look at the chants and end up going ahead and practicing them one by one. So we'll practice first, and then we'll use them to ease into meditation. In the middle there, I will open up for any questions. So here we're just going to practice the chants once all the way through, and then I'll open up to any questions that you guys might have based on building up your practice with these chants, and then we'll start with the chants and ease into meditation. So if you'd like to bring your hands together, palm to palm at your sternum, this is the way that people will typically chant, and you would like to take a nice deep breath here. And now, as you breathe in, Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakawa Photang Mahakavanang Apivateyami Savakato Mahakavata Tammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Mahakavato Sāvaka Saṅkho Sanghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti piso Mahakava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vicacaranang Sammuno Sakhato Rokavito Anutero Purisa Dhamma Sati Satatawa Manusanang Bhutto Bhagavati. Okay, so this is the 3 chants that I taught you guys on the very first class that I introduced you to chanting and started helping you to learn it. But what I would like to do is open up to any questions that you guys have now that you perhaps have had a couple of weeks to work on practicing these. You might have some questions related to the pronunciation or breathing techniques or any number of other things related to the chants. You can put those into Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom in the comment section, and I'll be able to see your question. If you're in Zoom, you can electronically raise your hand and ask any questions or follow-up questions directly. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions from anyone on Facebook or YouTube. I'm not seeing any in Zoom either. So this means you must be understanding the chants to a certain degree and having built up some proficiency with them. Now, why don't we use them as we have in our previous session to just ease the mind into meditation, and then I will guide you guys in an actual meditation. We're going to do breathing mindfulness meditation as a way of training the mind to arise mindfulness, concentration, and eliminate craving, desire, attachment. This is the primary form of meditation that the Buddha taught as a journey to enlightenment and training the mind to arise qualities that you're going to need outside of meditation in your daily life to fully transform the mind. So if you'd like to take a position for meditation, we'll just go ahead and chant these together, easing the mind into meditation, and then I'll give you some guidance once we finish the chants. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakeva Bhutang Mahakavanang Apivateyami Savakato Mahakavata Tammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Mahakavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti piso Mahakava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vichacharanang Sammuno Sakhato Rokavito Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sati Satatawa Manusanang Bhutto Bhagavati. Okay, with the lower body and hands and arms completely relaxed, and the upper body erect, close the eyes and start breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Here you're just establishing the breath, a nice, natural, steady, consistent breath. Breathing in out. Breathing in out. Your breath isn't going to necessarily match up with the guidance that I'm providing. I'm just here for guidance. This is your practice. So wherever you get to the next inhale, breathe in gradually through the nose, experiencing the full breath. And whenever you're ready, breathe out through the nose, experiencing the full exhale. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. With the breath well established, start fixating the mind on the breath. Either the sound of the breath coming into the nose or the sensation of air moving into the nose. The breath is the present moment. Fixate the mind on the breath, the present moment. Breathing in out. Breathing in and out. With the mind fixated on the breath, whenever you notice that the mind is moved off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. No need to observe the thought, label it, judge it, analyze it, or even try to figure out where it's coming from. Just wherever you notice that the mind is moved off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. I'm going to be quiet now and let you do this work of focusing on the breath, cutting off and letting go anytime the mind moves off the breath. You have nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. No one needs you right now. This is your time to focus on the breath. Breathing in and out. ระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธมหาเขวาพุทธังมหาเขวันหังอภิวาเทมิสวากขาโตมหาเขวตาธัมโมธัมมังนามัสสามิสุปฏิปันโนมหาเขวโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามินะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะอิติปิโสมหาเขวาอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิชาจารณังสัมมุโนสคาโตโรกาวิโตอนุเตโรปุริสาธัมมาสติสัตตาตาวามนุสนังพุทโธภะคะวะติ Okay, if you guys would like to ease your way out of meditation, what I'm going to do for the remaining time of our class is just open up to any questions that you guys might have, whether it's related to the meditation or the chanting or any other aspect of the path to enlightenment. You can ask any and all of those questions, whether it's the 5 precepts that are about to be taught this Sunday, or even the Eightfold Path, the Four Noble Truths, the 3 Universal Truths, the Natural Law of Gotama, anything that you're challenged with in your practice. You're welcome to use this time as an open question period. So if you would like to ask a question, just put that into Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom in the comment section. I'll be able to see that and then answer your question. And then if you're in Zoom, you can electronically raise your hand and ask any questions or follow-up questions directly. All right, I'm not seeing any questions anywhere in any of our platforms, so that means you guys must not have any questions today. So I'll just end class by sharing with you what we're going to be studying in our future classes. On Sunday, we're going to be in Chapter 7 of the book, Developing a Life Practice, The Path That Leads to Enlightenment. Chapter 7 is titled The 5 Precepts, A Householder's Guide to Daily Practice. If you heard that the Buddha taught no killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, no intoxicants, this isn't what he actually taught, and you haven't yet studied the 5 precepts. In order to deeply understand the 5 precepts, you're going to need to understand the words of the Buddha related to the 5 precepts. And this is where you get much more illuminating language about what he actually taught, so that you don't think of these precepts as rules or commandments, and you don't see them as black and white. Instead, there's this large gray area that you need to learn how to navigate. And that's where a teacher is able to help you understand these 5 precepts through the words of the Buddha, and how to navigate this gray area that you might find yourself in at different times. And then next Wednesday, we're going to be in the 4th part of our 4-part series on Buddhist chanting. So we'll be finishing up in the same way that we did today's session, where we'll go through and practice once and then do meditation together. And then, of course, each Saturday we have the Pali Canon and English study group where you can study the words of the Buddha. Now we're in volume 3, so you'll be able to explore that as part of studying in the Pali Canon and English study group if you'd like to learn there. So thank you all for your dedication and commitment to learning. We'll see you guys in one of these future classes. Have a very lovely and wonderful rest of your day. Sawadee ka.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To provide support for this podcast, visit patreon.com/support Buddha. To access more teachings, visit buddhadailywisdom.com. There, you will discover a full range of courses, retreats, and online resources to assist you on the path to enlightenment. Remember to establish a daily, consistent meditation practice, along with learning and practicing these teachings. A well-developed meditation practice is the foundation in which to train the mind to attain enlightenment.